morning. 7:04. Just getting started. Wanted to come on a little early. Give an opportunity for everybody to get their coffee. Let me get my product placement correctly. Get my coffee ready. Ready for some good chats today. Great topic. Gonna talk about fear. So I want to thank y'all for jumping on. Let me know that you're here. Put a comment in the chat. Say good morning and hello. Okay, 7:05. Good morning, and thank you for joining me with my chilling spot chats every Friday morning at 7:05. Good morning, Renee. I see you. Want to just have an opportunity to be able to have a conversation about some relevant topics today. And today's conversation is going to be about fear. Ooh. I know a lot of times when we talk about fear, it's always manifested with, well, we should be fearless. Good morning, Renee. And fear can be a teacher for us if we let it. Fear actually has two positive purposes for us. The first positive purpose for fear is it gives us an adrenaline rush. So like if there's something chasing you, if something's after you, it gives you that adrenaline rush so that you can flee, because there's with fear causes us to think about our safety. So when we are fearful in certain situations, it's because we're like, this isn't right. I need to run from it, or I need to get this off of me. So fear can be a positive attribute. And then the second reason fear is useful is that fear teaches us that it has a positive intention. The positive intention is, what is that we need to work on that's causing this fear? And how do we grow beyond that fear? So like if you're afraid of a dog, or if you're afraid of relationships, which is a little key thing we'll talk about later, what is it that's stopping you in that fear? Why are you afraid of it? And what can we learn from it that will help us move forward? So when we think of it that way, fear can be an ally for us. It's protecting us, keeping us safe in the world of unknown danger, but it's also teaches us that if there's something I'm afraid of, it gives me an opportunity to go deeper. It gives me an opportunity to learn about this fear. Dr. Carl Albright, in his book, Social Intelligence, The New Science of Success, broke down fear into 5 core reasons. And I want to hear from you. Get in the chat. Let me know what you think. I'm going to say what the 5 are, and then we're going to get a little more detail about what those 5 are. And let me know if these resonate with you. If there's one in particular you want to talk about, let me know. Again, jump in there and let me know. And some of these really resonate. Well, all of them resonated with me, really, but I'll go through them really quick. I'll go through them, and then we'll get into more detail. The first one is extinction. The second one is dismemberment or bodily invasion. The third fear is loss of autonomy. The fourth is separation, abandonment, and rejection. And the fifth is humiliation. So let's look at these a little bit more deeply. Let's look at them individually and see how again, some of those titles are a little interesting. Good morning. So in some of them, you have to get into them a little bit more to figure out what they mean, but let's talk about them. Let's start with the fear of extinction. Well, extinction is just means to cease to exist. So there is a natural fear of all of us to die. That we will no longer be here. But it's also the fear of extinction is when we're afraid to try something new. When we're so afraid of, well, what will happen if I step out and start my own business? Will I be successful? What will my identity be? Because we have this sense of identity now, like this is who I am. But once I start something new, once I begin to transform into a better, healthier version of myself, what will that look like? Who will I be then? And so, if we don't have an identity of who we are, if we don't know our core essence, then we'll cease to exist. And I just want to share real quickly, when I was married, and this isn't a reflection on my husband, this is more a reflection on me. The relationship was so much about him that I didn't know who Tracy was. Tracy started to be extinct. I didn't exist in that marriage. And I lost who I was. And that's also tied into some of the core fears going down the line. But that's one way that we can say, well, we feel like we don't exist, is we get in situations and we become titles and, well, I'm a director, or I'm a mom, or I'm this. But who are you really? Are you existing on that level? So that's the first one, is fear of extinction. The next fear is of dismemberment and bodily invasion. Well, it really sounds more like it's a fear of losing a part of our body, which is a very real thing. Nobody wants to lose a body part, or losing some part of our natural function, not being able to walk. And one of the things in transformational coach, as a transformational coach, we realize that we have 3 basic human needs, and one of them is safety. And so any fear of, dismemberment or bodily invasions is a threat to our safety. So, and this also can be associated with fear of animals, but it also manifests itself in fear and anxiety about being in large crowds, about needles, about surgery, going to the dentist. Nobody likes going to the dentist. I mean, they're definitely bodily invasion. They open their mouth and stick that stuff in your mouth. So it's really about how do we keep ourselves safe. And that is a primal need to keep our bodies safe. The third core fear is autonomy. It's that fear of being constricted, confined, suffocated, immobilized, or restricted or smothered. It can be claustrophobic. It can be something like claustrophobia, unable to take care of ourselves. I know that for many of you who follow me and know that I'm also the primary caregiver of my elderly mother. She's 81. And one of her greatest fears has become that she's immobilized. She cannot take care of herself, and that she has to depend on other people. And that is a natural fear for all of us, is what would happen if I'm not able to get up and walk and do those things that I've been able to do. So there is that fear of having to also depend on other people, not being able to take care of yourself and provide those services that you need for yourself. But then also can manifest in the fear of commitment. Because if you're working on relationships and trying to fall in love, that fear of autonomy, again, I kind of sort of touched on that about when I was married, is I lost my autonomy. I didn't know who Tracy was. I became a part of a unit, but where was Tracy? And then there was no autonomy. I wasn't able to do, I didn't feel supported. I shouldn't say I wasn't able to. I didn't feel supported in being able to be and do the things that I needed to do to remain Tracy. And so if you have a significant fear of commitment, this will also manifest itself in that way. If I'm going to be restricted, if I'm going to be trapped, confined, maybe even suffocated, then I don't want to enter into this adventure, whether that be a relationship, whether that be a business. So it's very interesting, isn't it? Again, jump in the chat and let me know what you're thinking about some of these core fears. Do you resonate with any of these? Do these make sense of what I'm saying? Because autonomy means that you're feeling helpless and powerless, right? And nobody wants to feel that way. So the number 4 is separation, abandonment, and rejection. There's that rejection word. Whew. That's another big one. And again, one of our core beliefs in transformational coaching is that you need to be safe. And that safety also comes from a need to be loved and belonging, being connected. And so when we're afraid of separation, abandonment, rejection, it threatens our need for belonging. And that's not only from human history, that's spiritual, that's meaningful. We want to feel like we're connected to other people. And the rejection, is so terrifying. What if someone doesn't accept me for who I am? What if they don't like me? I'll share this. When I started trying to do these chats and really started life coaching, I was like, what if people don't want me? What if they don't like me? And so then I became paralyzed by that fear and was afraid to move forward. And because we have a critter brain. That critter brain I call it a critter brain, but it's that brain that keeps, you're not going to be successful, no one's going to like you, and you're just manifesting on it. It's a fear, but it's not actually true. The other way that rejection shows up is when a relationship ends, a friendship ends, you get divorced, the death of a loved one, but it also can be the other way around. Rejection also shows up when we get into a relationship and it begins to go deeper. What if I lose this person? What if this person rejects me now? I'm all in. So we become fearful to give all we have into that relationship because we're afraid now. Well, they didn't leave when I threw up all these red flags. They didn't leave. Now all of a sudden I'm in deep and they're going to, they could leave me now. So now I'm going to run. This fear is built up. So, yeah, that's a big one. And the last one is humiliation. That feeling of shame or worthlessness. And Dr. Albright calls this one the ego death, and describes that we all need to feel worthy of love. So again, it's one of our basic human needs, to be accepted, to be loved. And we also need to feel worthy to have that connectedness to other people. And sometimes those are confused with shame and guilt when we talk about worthiness. And guilt is something that I did, which is a behavior, and shame is identity. Again, guilt is a behavior, shame is an identity. And one of the things that we talk about in transformational coaching is how to separate the two. Just because you did something doesn't mean you are something. Just because you did something that maybe you ate a whole bag of potato chips when you're on the diet. I haven't ever done that. I've never done that. But that doesn't mean that's who I am. Shame is something that you do as an identity, and that follows you. So if you're bad, how can I be connected to something that's bad? That keeps us. If you view yourself as, well, I'm not worthy of something, so then good morning. So if I see myself as something unworthy, then I'm unworthy of having love. If I see myself as unworthy of having my own job, my own career, then I'm not going to pursue it. So there's just ways that humiliation and shame come in to our existence. And one of those ways are fear of criticism. We're afraid to step out and do things because what are people going to say about me? They're going to criticize me. I'm sure there's someone now that's looking at my house and they're like, oh, well, she's this. You can't live your life in a fear of criticism, because ultimately the only voice that matters, and my camera just died, my light just died, is the voice that you have for yourself. It's what you tell yourself about yourself that matters the most. So tell me what you think about those 5 core beliefs. Do you feel like those are things that you can resonate with? Do you feel like those are what are you thinking about the fear of rejection? What are you thinking about humiliation? I think at the end of the day that as we address those fears and those core beliefs, that we become stronger. Because ultimately, the goal of these chats and the goal of life really is to become the best absolute version of yourself. You are wonderful and creatively and made. And if you don't do what you've come here to do, then it just won't get done. So how do we go about that? And that's where the life coaching comes in. Hey, Renee, I can relate with the rejection too. I relate. That fear of stepping out and having someone not appreciate or value what we bring to the table, that is so real. It's so real. And how do we navigate that? And if you're interested, what I can do is begin to take these and every week, maybe break them down and have more in-depth discussion about them. But I wanted to bring them up today. So that might be something that we can talk about. If you're interested in doing that, then let me know. Again, put in the chats, inbox me, let me know. Say, hey, I'd like to take each one of those and break them down for 1 week and talk more about them. And I'm happy to do that because that's what these chats are about. It's about how we can work together to become the best version of ourselves. And again, if you are looking for someone to help navigate that process for you, I'm a life coach. Inbox me, we can talk, set up a time to begin the process of helping you navigate. Now, I want to say this about life coaching. I'm not a therapist. A life coach is going to help you, guide you, because I'm a firm believer that all of us internally know what we're destined to do. The voice of your higher power, mine is Jesus, but your voice of your higher power is guiding you to be the best version of you. And so you know who you are. You know what you're capable of doing. It's the society, it's the pressure, it's those 5 common core fears that we just talked about that stop us from being that. And what I want to do in these chats and what I want to do as a health life coach is to help people get to that core to say, this is who I am, and pull it out and look at it and own it and say, this is who I've been called to be, and this is how I'm going to live my life. And so if you are looking for someone to go on that journey, if you need someone who's a cheerleader, then I'm your girl. And so I hope that you will continue to join me on these chats. I'm hoping that you will continue to send me information about what you're interested in, some topics that we can talk about. And then lastly, as I get ready to close, I want to start doing something I call love notes. I'm a firm believer that you need to be able to tell people individually and collectively that you love them. There's so much negativity in the world that we don't take time to tell people that we appreciate them. So every week I'm going to give love notes. And this week I want to give 2 love notes to 2 people that I just love. My first love note goes out to Mrs. Angela Bradshaw, Miss Angie. She's one of my favorite people ever. And I want to give her a love note because I got your text late last night. And I just want you to know how much that meant to me and that those encouraging words. And I value you and I appreciate your friendship. And my next love note goes to Vanessa Scott. Vanessa is a wonderful woman. And if you are a person of prayer and a person of faith, I ask that you lift up Miss Vanessa Scott. She's amazing. And I appreciate your vulnerability and transparency in my life. So give some love notes to that. And today, as we go into the weekend, give somebody a love note. Let them know that you appreciate them. Take the time out to just let somebody know that you've thought about them, that you've crossed their mind, and show and share that love. Okay? So I appreciate everybody jumping on today. My heart is so full. It is, because I know these chats are part of my ministry, what I'm supposed to do, and I appreciate you taking your time out to spend some time with me. I cannot emphasize that enough. So if you like it, please share. Let your friends know. Again, inbox me, text me. What do you think about those core beliefs? If you're interested in breaking one down, if you want to talk more about rejection, if you're looking for some tools to navigate some of those, please let me know. I'm here to be that resource for you. And again, I thank you so much for y'all joining me today. I hope I see you next week. And everybody have a wonderful week and a blessed weekend. I love each one of y'all. Have a great day.